being in the trenches with him, like you said, he made that a goal. And so if a lot of
I
people
do
say he
believe in
even
the
can't
power of
play.
editing. I do think editing can make you look bad or good, but it can't change your personality. I've seen footage of myself that I maybe haven't been proud of, but instead of me blaming editing, I've been like, okay, let me self-reflect. I don't love that version of me. I don't love how I spoke to someone. I don't like how I responded. I have crazy facial expressions. I don't like some of those because they're rude sometimes. I do want to let you guys know I have not seen any of these cards. This will be, as I'm reading them, will be the first time I'm hearing it. So I'm going to answer in.
Khloé Kardashian's voice carried a weight that felt years in the making, the kind of honesty that doesn't arrive all at once but slowly breaks through layers of silence, fear, and survival. And when she finally spoke about the years she spent protecting Lamar Odom's secrets, it wasn't just a revelation, it was a release, a confession shaped by love, pressure, and the complicated reality of living a life that millions believe they understood but few truly saw. Because behind the glossy episodes and carefully edited moments was a woman navigating emotional chaos while trying to hold everything together. And as she reflected on that chapter, she admitted that fear played a larger role than she had ever publicly acknowledged: fear of losing him, fear of exposing him, fear of what the truth would do not just to their relationship but to the fragile world they had built. And perhaps most striking was her candid admission that despite being a central figure on a wildly popular show, financial independence wasn't what people assumed. She explained that she had the show but didn't make money in the way outsiders imagined, which added another layer of vulnerability to her decisions, because staying silent wasn't just about loyalty, it was also tied to stability, to a sense of security that felt uncertain at the time, and that context reshapes the narrative entirely, turning what some might have viewed as blind devotion into something far more complex and human, a mixture of love, fear, obligation, and circumstance. She described how keeping those secrets became almost second nature, like carrying an invisible weight that grew heavier with every passing day. And even as warning signs became harder to ignore, she found herself trapped in a cycle of protecting him while quietly losing parts of herself. The emotional toll was immense, but it was hidden beneath a public image that demanded composure and strength. And that contrast between public perception and private reality is what makes her story so compelling, because it forces a reconsideration of how easily people judge what they don't fully understand. She spoke about the moments when she questioned everything, when she wondered if silence was helping or harming, but by then the lines were blurred, and stepping away from that role of protector felt almost impossible, especially when love was still present in its own complicated way. She didn't frame herself as a victim, nor did she attempt to rewrite history in a way that absolved her completely. Instead, she acknowledged the gray areas, the choices made under pressure, the ways fear can influence decisions even when logic suggests otherwise, and that honesty is what resonates most, because it strips away the illusion of perfection and replaces it with something real, something relatable, even if the circumstances themselves are extraordinary. She also touched on how the experience changed her, how it reshaped her understanding of boundaries, self-worth, and what it means to truly support someone, because support, as she has come to realize, doesn't mean sacrificing your own well-being or covering up truths that need to be faced. It means finding a balance that allows both people to heal and grow. And that lesson didn't come easily. It was learned through heartbreak, through moments of clarity that often arrive too late, and through the eventual realization that protecting someone else shouldn't come at the cost of losing yourself. As she revisited those memories, there was a sense that she wasn't just speaking to an audience, she was speaking to her past self, offering the kind of understanding and compassion she might not have had at the time. And in doing so, she created space for others to reflect on their own experiences, to recognize the ways fear can shape decisions, and to consider how they might choose differently moving forward. Her story isn't just about secrets or a high-profile relationship. It's about the universal struggle of knowing when to hold on and when to let go, when to protect and when to speak, and perhaps most importantly, when to choose yourself. And while the past can't be changed, the act of sharing it openly transforms it into something powerful, something that can inspire growth not just for her but for anyone listening, because in the end, the courage to tell the truth even years later is its own kind of healing, a reminder that no matter how long silence has lasted, it's never too late to reclaim your voice and redefine your story on your own terms.
Friend who is always emotionally dumping, but never asks how I'm doing. I cannot stand when people do this. Oh my gosh. Every call turns into a 45-minute crisis session, and I leave feeling so drained. I started taking longer to respond, and now she's saying I'm acting different. I feel bad, but also I feel so much lighter. Does this make me a bad friend? No, I don't think this at all. Number one, the older you get, the more you realize you want relationships that are just easy. You don't want a relationship that's high maintenance. This seems like a very high maintenance relationship. Now, that doesn't mean that we're not there for our friends. Of course, if someone is emotionally dumping on you, they may need that release and they may need that friendship and that outlet. If it's constant, then that person needs a therapist. Then that person is just taking advantage, and they sort of like to be in that victim mentality, which I can't stand. We all have bad days. We all have bad experiences and go through bad things. Totally fair. I want my girlfriends around me. I want to be there for my girlfriends. But when it's a constant emotional trauma dumping, that gets old. And also, if they're not asking how you're doing back, it sounds like a one-way friendship. And it sounds like that person isn't being a good friend to you. You need to hear me out. I'm in college and my roommate keeps using my stuff and not replacing it. Toilet paper, perfume, skincare, bananas. I didn't want to make it a whole confrontation, so I left a note that said, if you finish something, please replace it, with a heart. Now she's acting weird. How would you handle this? I am just not this sensitive as a person. Like, common courtesy. If I use something and I used it all, like one of my biggest pet peeves, someone uses all the toilet paper and you see a fresh roll right there. Are you kidding me that you're not going to replace it? The laziness. It's rude. I do not like it. This is triggering me a little bit, clearly. But I think, listen, if you don't say something, someone's never going to know your boundaries or know what ticks you off. You have to say something. I think you leaving a note with a little heart kept it cute. I think you're being really nice.